afternoon. Welcome. This is a great crowd. We appreciate you all coming. And we're going to hear from some amazing Democratic candidates for various offices. My name is Paul Houlihan. I'm the chair of the Sandwich Democratic Town Committee. Welcome to the grand opening of our campaign office. From this office will emanate energy, perseverance, goodwill, hard work, and we'll elect these candidates in November. I want to make a couple of quick announcements. First of all, there's a voter registration area right around the corner. There is also water that is democratically free. There is lemonade, which is organic, but also today democratically free. Also, we really encourage you to visit Sandwich Fest, a lot of great exhibits and businesses. And lastly, we really encourage you to join the Sandwich Democratic Town Committee. There are applications available, or just email us, and we need all the support we can get as we move through the summer into the fall. So please consider that. Let's get on to the candidates right away. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Patrick Ellis. Patrick Ellis is a lifelong resident of Sandwich. Patrick comes from many generations of Sandwichites. Patrick is a former selectman in Sandwich. He's a former superintendent of the Department of Public Works in Sandwich. So if you drove in on any roads, you drove over the work that he did. He is also a private businessman, so he has covered the waterfront. It is my great pleasure to introduce Patrick Ellis. Patrick Ellis!
Thank you, Paul. And welcome everyone to Sandwich. Paul told me I had 1 minute. I can't order coffee at a drive-through window in 1 minute. But I will today. This is a great day to be a Democrat. It's a great day to be in this district. And we're really fortunate to have real good Democrats that we can support this fall. Particularly Mary Pat Flynn. Our own Senate President Therese and our next Senator Elizabeth Warren. Now I'll leave you with my 1 minute. I was a superintendent of public works in the town of Sandwich when Reagan became our president. What is little known to most people is how much the federal government has backed out of supporting our country. We've backed out of roads, we've backed out of water, we've backed out of sewer, we've backed out of educational funding, and we've backed out of education coming from the federal government. This is what that awareness is, what's going to bring back that awareness is Elizabeth Warren becoming our next senator from Massachusetts. So you want me to introduce the next person, or you? All right, very good. So I thank you all for coming. It's a great town. We have a real good quality in this town for preserving what works. And I thank you for coming, and we'll be here today. I appreciate it. We need all your support. We need you to find 10 Democrats and get them out to vote on November 6th. Thank you.
I'd next like to introduce Mary Pat Flynn. Mary Pat is a longtime selectman in Falmouth. She is completing her first term as a Barnstable County Commissioner. I've had the opportunity to work directly with the Commission on a number of issues, including the Barnstable County Human Rights Commission, and she has been steadfast in her support for active and progressive work being done throughout the county. It's my great pleasure to introduce Mary Pat Flynn. Mary Pat.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Sandwich Democrats. If this is any sign of what is to come, we're going to make it in November. I too only have have 1 minute, and I want to just tell you a little bit about your county government, because I'm running for re-election and you need to know what's going on. 3 really important things happened this year, and the first was Open Cape. And you know, that's the broadband initiative that is going to allow us to have a gigabit per second access on the internet. This happened because the county commissioners through the Economic Development Council gave a $50,000 grant to Open Cape, which they then leveraged into $40 million. $30 million in federal money, $8 million from the state, and the rest from the county. The second is e-permitting. I don't know if you've heard about e-permitting, but that's another area where the county commissioners have been able to leverage our small $23 million budget into grants from at the federal and state level. E-permitting, we received a $500,000 grant from the Innovative Challenge, the grant from the state, and we have people from the town of Yarmouth, and all of 14 towns have signed on to this. 2 o'clock in the morning, when your family arrives and you forgot to get a beach sticker, you can go on your computer, access the beach permits for your town, sign on, pay the $20 or $30 fee, and you've got a beach sticker, and everybody goes to the beach the next day. And in the area of wastewater, we received a wonderful grant from the state, where through the Cape Cod Commission, we've developed a wastewater tool called an MVP, which is going to help towns figure out how to solve their problems related to nitrogen. They're going to be able to look at this tool to see what it is they have to do, how much it's going to cost, and how they can make it happen. So county government is working for you, state government is working for you, and so isn't President Obama working for you. And we have a candidate here for the state senate that is also going to be working for you with your help. So go Democrats!
Thank you. I next want to introduce Lou Cerrone, who's the Vice Chair of our Democratic Town Committee, and he will introduce our next speakers.
Go Lou!
Let's hear it for Cape Cod Democrats. Yes! Massachusetts Senate has 40 members, 40 different senators, and we are so fortunate in Sandwich and in the Plymouth-Barnstable district to have the best. Terry Murray. Terry continues to amaze me with the things that she's done for Sandwich and for the other city and towns in the Plymouth and Barnstable district. And just off the top of the list, Terry ensured the passage of $793,000 in Chapter 90 money, which goes directly for the safety and upkeep of our roads and our bridges, which is great. Terry sponsored and worked to pass the Sandwich Economic Initiative Corporation to facilitate local economic development. Terry also worked to ensure $350,000 in FY13 budget for wastewater issues, which we are so desperately concerned about in Cape Cod. She supported and advocated for a new council on aging, a new building. The one that we have now is not in good shape. And finally, she secured $157,000 in funding from the Mass Cultural Council's Facilities Fund to the Heritage Museum and Garden to improve energy efficiency and accessibility. It is a great honor for me to present to you Senate President Therese Murray.
Hello, Sandwich Democrats, and thank you all for being here today. This office and this great resource is going to be a really important spot for us, just as 2 years ago it was for us to use as a communal office, and that it means a lot to have that kind of support. And Sandwich Democratic Town Committee has always stepped up to the plate, and I want to thank them very much for that. And we can choose rhetoric that is negative and not uncivility, or we can choose results, and I'd rather choose results. And Lou mentioned a couple of things, but let's talk about how good Massachusetts is. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country at 6%. Our children are #1 in math and science in the whole country. We have the highest bond rating the Commonwealth has ever had in the history of the Commonwealth. And we have a life science industry and a high-tech industry that is creating jobs, 40,000 jobs since January. Those are very positive issues. Those are the things I work for every single day. I'm very proud to be your senator, and I'm extremely proud to be the president of the Massachusetts Senate, because it's all here. We have everything to offer here, and we're doing a job that certainly says that Massachusetts is in the forefront in economic recovery. And that's not by chance. That's by crossing the aisle and understanding that compromise is necessary in order to get things done. So I choose results over rhetoric any day, and I'm proud to be your senator. And thank you all, and I'm proud that we're going to be here to hear from our next senator. Thank you.
I have to quickly mention that Bill Keating was also on our program today, and he had a parade that he had to attend in New Bedford this morning, and he's having trouble getting over the bridge and getting here on time. He said he's going to try to make it at least for a Sandwich Fest, so let's hear it for Bill Keating. We have knocked on about 1,000 doors in Sandwich over the course of the last several months on behalf of Elizabeth Warren and other Democratic candidates. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. We're canvassing every other Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Our next canvass is Sunday, June 8th. Unfortunately, July 8th, thank you. And unfortunately, it's the same pool of people over and over. We need new people. If in fact you want to see Elizabeth Warren elected, there's something that you can do. Give us 2 hours a month for the next 4 months, a total of 8 hours, and canvass for us. Now there's a young man named Sean Corn. Sean, are you out here anyway? See the clipboard up there? He's taking down names and identifying information of people that want to get involved in the campaign, help us, and do some canvassing. This is something you can do to get Elizabeth elected. This U.S. Senate race, we really have clear and distinct choice. This race is about values. What values do we hold dear to us as members of this Commonwealth and citizens of our nation? Do we believe that our neighbors are on our own, that they need to take care of themselves? Or do we believe that our neighbors' struggles and dreams are our job too? Do we believe that the government should continue to give out large amounts of money to the wealthiest people in this country in tax breaks, and the same thing to the biggest, most profitable corporations? Or do we believe that they should fund the social programs that help the neediest people among us, the elderly, the infirm, the people without jobs? Do we believe that people can get the health insurance that they can afford and, get into the private market which has left 50 million Americans, 1 in 7, without health care coverage? Or do we believe that it is a right of the many, not a privilege of the few? Do we believe in the I got mine approach, or we take seriously our duty to ensure that our children and our grandchildren have the same opportunity that we had if they work hard and play by the rules to succeed in this country and achieve the American dream? Well, we know that Elizabeth Warren believes that our neighbors' struggles are ours. She believes that we have a responsibility to take care of the people in need. She believes that health care is a right and not a privilege. She believes that we have a responsibility to ensure that the opportunities that we enjoy today are there for our children and our grandchildren. I am so absolutely pleased to present to you the next U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren.
By saying thank you very much to Paul and to Lou, you make this happen. You're the ones organizing and making it happen. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I also want to say to Mary Pat and Patrick and to the President, thank you so much for your service, and we're going to do this for you in November. This is it. This is what we do. So I am really tickled to be here today, but I know who I'm with today. I'm with the people who make something happen. So I thought I'd spend just a couple of minutes, I know everybody's in the sun here, but I thought I'd spend just a couple of minutes telling you a story that was really an important story to me, and I hope an important story to you. This story starts 4 years ago. You remember the financial crisis, 2008, markets are crashing, and I knew the big question's going to be, what are the rules going to look like on the other side? This is going to be partly about accountability for the big banks, and it's also going to be about whether or not we repair a broken credit market down at the family level. Never forget, this crisis started one lousy mortgage at a time. Never forget, an entire industry has been built on tricking people over the price of a credit card, on fooling people about student loans and bank fees. If we don't fix that, my thinking was, we're just inviting this crisis to come back again in another 15 years. Maybe next time it'll be credit cards, maybe next time it'll be student loans, maybe next time it'll be something we haven't even thought of yet. We had to fix the market at the family level, at the household level. So I went off to Washington and talked to our friends about this, and I said, I've got an idea for how to fix this. The idea was called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And the basic notion behind it was pretty straightforward. And that is, we'd have one place in Washington where those 18 federal statutes would be administered, take them away from the 7 agencies that don't care about them, put them in one place and give American families a real voice. Let's just try to repair this market so there's real transparency, so people can see what it is they're buying and get some real accountability in this market. So I went around and I talked to a lot of people in Washington, and they told me 2 things. This is important. They said, first one is, that is a great idea. You could actually fix a broken market. You could help millions of people. It won't fix everything that's wrong with middle-class families right now, but you could repair a big hole in the bottom of the boat. The second thing they told me is, don't do it. All of it. And they said, don't do it because you can't possibly win. They said, don't do it because the banks own this place. Don't do it because the banks will make it a #1 priority to kill this consumer agency. So I walked away from there, and this just shows you. I thought what they were saying is, try harder. You know, I read too many Nancy Drew novels growing up or something, you know, intrepid girl policymaker. So I thought, okay, if you can't do it the usual way, that is, you can't do it kind of through the inside and you reach across the aisle, you try to make this happen, how do you make something happen? And the answer is, you do it by getting people organized. So I thought, okay, how do we get people organized? Set up a conference call. I set up my first conference call. You'll love this. First conference call had 2 people on it, which I think legally does not qualify as a conference call. But the second had 4, and the third had 10, and then it hit me. Let's get the groups involved. And we got groups from all over this Commonwealth, all over this country. Ultimately, we had more than 200 groups involved. God bless. The AFL-CIO said, we'll be part of this. They said, we're there. SEIU, they said, we're in this. AARP said, this matters to our folks. Consumers Union said, toasters, credit cards, yeah, we're in this. We had all sorts of groups involved, and here was the key. When the moment came to kill the consumer agency, Barney Frank and our friends had gotten it through the House, but when it was time to kill it in the Senate, we were organized. And when we were organized, we were able to push back. And we said, we just want a vote. You can vote for the banks, or you can vote for the families. Some people objected to that framing, but I thought it was exactly right. And when we could push hard from the outside, when we could create the wind in our own sails, they had to give us a vote. And when they had to give us a vote out there in public for the whole world to see, by golly, there was a majority for a good, strong Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's how we got it. Now, I tell that story to you for a reason. In fact, for several reasons. The first reason I tell you that story is because it is a reminder. The next time somebody says to you, everything is broken, there's no hope, there's no point in getting involved, you can't make anything better, just look back at them and say, we now got a consumer agency in Washington that's cleaning up mortgages, cleaning up credit cards, cleaning up bank fees. Yes, we know how to make a difference. That's the first thing you say. But the second lesson out of this, and this was the one that mattered so much to me, the world changed when I saw this happen. That we could get organized and get a consumer agency, even though we were up against the strongest lobbying force ever assembled on the face of the earth. We did it by being organized. And so I tell you this story because this is the story that ultimately got me into this Senate race. I've been out there fighting on behalf of families for 25 years. I've been working for families who've been turned upside down by medical problems. I've been working for people who've lost their jobs. I've been working for families who can't make it anymore because a family breakup has just turned their finances inside out. I've been working for people who are trying to get an education and are now so loaded down with debt they can't see a future. I've been out there working, but what changed when I went to Washington is I realized when we work together, we make the big changes together. So let me put as sharp a point as I can on this. I never thought I was going to be a candidate for public office. Boy, not on my list anywhere. But you know, sometimes there are fights you have to wade straight into. They are the right fights to have. And this one is it. So now what this is about real change. And so I want to talk to you because I want to make sure that you understand what I know in my heart now. And that is, we can make a difference. We make the difference by working together. So I'm in this race. I've agreed to take the front point. I get it. I'm the one whose name ends up on credit signs. And on great signs. I get it. I'm the one who agreed to take the point. But understand this. We're all in this race together. I'm counting on not being alone in this race. I know what's at stake, and I'm ready to fight. And what I want to know is, are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? Because this is what we have to do. This is it. Thank you all. Thank you for being here.
I spent a lot of my life doing community organizing, and what you just heard is lesson 101, 202, 303, 404 in community organizing. So congratulations to Elizabeth for that lesson. Again, we really need your support going forward. It's going to be a tough race. There are going to be no easy days. We're going to need your help. Please come forward. You know where we are. You know where to find us. Please find us, please help us. And I want to thank especially for all the candidates. They are an impressive group of candidates. They deserve our support. They will have our support. We will win in November. Thank you.